Hello, welcome to another edition of Club Shay Shay. I am your host, Shannon Sharpe, also the proprietor of Club Shay Shay. The guy that stops by the bar today to have a drink with me is two-time champion, NBA champion, 11-time All-Star, and Mr. Basketball in the state of Texas in 2002, Chris Bosh.
All my life, been grinding all my life. Sacrifice, hustle paid the price. Want a slice, got to roll the dice, that's why. All my life, I've been grinding all my life. Look, all my life, been grinding all my life. Sacrifice, hustle paid the price. Want a slice, got to roll the dice, that's why. All my life, I've been grinding all my life.
Chris, how you doing today, bro?
I'm good, man. That's a good one. You hit me with a throwback on that one.
Well, we're going to take off in a different direction. Normally, when I talk to athletes, we start talking about their athletic career, but we're going to talk about your music career that you started after you finished with the NBA. You're producing music. What made you go into music after your NBA career?
Well, I mean, first off, like it felt like I got thrown out of a car going 200 miles an hour.
Right.
I was playing basketball. I felt that I was going to get that second wind in my prime into my twilight years, like most of your heroes, like you see time and time again every year. It didn't happen. And I just kind of found myself trying to figure out, like, what am I going to do? I never really thought about that. It was always basketball. Right. A lot of people say, and then it was funny because everybody was like, oh, Chris, you're smart. You know stuff and you'll be fine. And it's like, I don't know what I want to do. You guys have it mistaken. In order to even do what I'm doing, I had to give my whole life to this thing. So there was never anything else. You make the grades so you can play basketball, so I just I found myself trying to search for something. And man, next thing I knew, I had a guitar in my hand. I'm making new friends, talking about different things and aspiring to do different things. And it was just all out of passion, all out of love. So that's how I got there. And I'm starting meeting some great people along the way.
So you're producing music, you're writing music. Are you going to actually be in front of the microphone?
No, sir. No, sir. I leave that to the pros. I just enjoy the collaborative effort that it takes. Really, seeing songwriting. I was blessed to see songwriting at the professional level. I was pretty much like the kid going to a pro game and seeing a pro game get played. And not only did I get to see it, but they're like, hey, yo, kid, have a shot, know, and I ended up getting a placement really quick with Gucci Mane and a good friend of mine, Rico Love. And it just happened, and I said, man, if I don't continue going down this path, I'm a fool. So that was like 4 years ago. So I've been, steady working, putting that time into something else.
You mentioned Gucci Mane, and you did a song with him in 2017, right? You did a collab or something with him.
Mm-hmm. So Rico and I wrote a song together, and you write music all the time. You just kind of get into the flow. It's almost like practice. That I equate everything to basketball now, you know, so it's a metaphor for me. So it's like, all right, I'm going to the gym. Okay, I'm gonna hit the weights. Okay, let's go get some shots up. All right, let's, just making sure you get the work in if you want to accomplish your goals. And that just came through. Rico's a good friend of mine. We were just hanging out. I play music for him. He writes to it. And it ended up getting on Gucci's album, Mr. Davis, back in 2018, early 2018. Mm-hmm. And so that was kind of the hook for me, just to be like, all right, that's that thing, let's go that way, regardless of, it's the feeling, it's knowing the spirit is there and following that,
So have you always been musically inclined?
I'd like to say so. My family is a very musical family. I have cousins that are classically trained. My father can sing. We always had to join choir back in the day at church and stuff like that, so it was more so just something you're always around. And I always enjoy music. I have friends, like I continuously was trying to make beats, like when I was in high school. Then I think when I was in the league, I start trying to like early, I start trying to learn to play the piano. It was these incomplete, this other world that keeps calling you that you never go to. And
yeah,
I
because
said, all
Chris,
right,
when
cool.
you're good at basketball, so you can sit that down for a month or two, pick right back up and be good at it. But when you're not
Absolutely.
good at something, you have to fully devote all of your
Hmm.
time, all of your energy, your effort in order
Hmm.
to become good at it. So
Yeah.
if you're trying to learn to play the piano and you're doing it in 4 or 5 month increments, that's not going to
It's
work.
not gonna work. And you have to get over yourself being bad. I mean,
Right. Yes.
it's just a part of the process. That's been one of the things that I've really learned, because people will, I only know that because I started playing, my music for people, and not that it was bad, but they were looking at me like, oh, I thought it was going to be whack, man. I
Right.
thought it was just going to be, okay, you all right.
Right.
And I said, okay, so usually, okay, you have to continue to, just like anything, work on your craft, hone your craft, just keep going, keep doing stuff, and it'll turn, man. I mean, that's just how I believe it.
How hard was it? Because like you said, you have to get over the fact that you're not good at it, but you were
Yeah.
always good at basketball. So so everything that you've really ever done, you've been really good at it. And so now here you are starting from the bottom, and you're not one of these top upper echelon songwriters or producers, and you're basically starting from scratch.
Yeah, I mean, it's a crazy thing, Shannon. I mean, it's like you feel immortal for so long.
Yes.
You know what I mean? I
Yes.
mean, boy, so long. And then all of a sudden, like, all right, cool. You taking the kids to school, you packing lunches, you have to pick up new skills. I'm in the house. Like a few years ago when I was first retired, I had to learn how to fix everything. I
Right.
didn't know that just goes into being a dad. Like, hey,
Right.
dad, fix it. you know and I'm just like, I got brought back into my skin so quickly,
Mhm.
so you have to go back to the work. That's the thing. That's the only thing that I remember, regardless of what happened in the NBA and in my career. I put the work in.
Right.
I know that I was, in the gym all the time. So if I want to be good at something, or if I want something to happen, you got to put your time in, and
Yeah,
you
but
got to go back to that.
when I think of athletes, I think of athletes. Let's just say in your case, a basketball player.
Mhm.
Okay, he's going to stay close to the game. He wants to be a scout, he wants to be a player personnel, he wants to be a general manager, he wants to be a coach, he wants to own the team. You
Yeah.
went totally away from basketball. This is as far as you can get from basketball as you possibly can imagine.
Yeah, it is. And I know basketball will be there, but that kind of the music, that's kind of what drew me towards it, because it was so crazy. And like I say, it was just a feel, man. I can't even describe it. It's like, yeah, I should be doing that. And I told myself I was going to follow my heart. So,
Right.
and to be honest with you, that's kind of what gave it, more allure, because the game is there. I still watch
Right.
every game. I
Mhm.
watch I know the salary cap, the CBA. I know the game. I watch the guys,
Right.
but this is just it offered me a way to get in touch, more with myself, and kind of find out other things that I like. I know we hooped. I
Right.
mean, whoa, man, we did it. My dad, we took me to every practice, hours and hours and hours of it, and it will continue one day. But, right now, I just want to really, really pursue this endeavor. And it's a lot, man. You have to learn a lot. It's more than just creatively doing things. You have to, as you know how it is when you're taking those meetings with the accountants and
Right.
the agents and the managers and the lawyers. All those things fall into place too.
What is it about basketball players, probably more so than any other athlete, in music? You get Dame Lillard, Dame Dollar, you get Iman Shumpert, you get Shaq, you get Aaron Gordon, you get Metta World Peace. Even Allen Iverson tried to do something with the rap. Kobe tried to rest his soul. What is it about basketball players in the music industry?
Man, that's a really good question. I think for one, there's a lot of idle time. So when you're going on those bus rides, there's a lot of bus rides, it's a lot of practice. It's a lot of downtime with your teammates if you're out of town for a road trip. If you're in summer league, you're going to be with your boys and there's going to be a hotel room and it's the summer and you guys are hanging out. And I mean, rap was just so influential. I mean, I remember from the minute I was listening to music, rap was everywhere, so it had a huge influence on our life. And like, to be honest with you, you didn't see many Black men at that time successful in much else,
Right.
So it's like, unfortunately in those times, which is much better now, but in those times, they write rhymes about it, but you either play basketball or you were a musician, a rapper, or something that people wanted to aspire to. And to be quite frank, it was cool, man. I mean, the people that you wanted to be, like Tupac, everybody wanted to be Tupac.
And if you look at it, it's and also the flip side, you look at the rappers, you look at the entertainers, you look at J. Cole, you look at 2 Chainz, you look at The Game, Nelly, you look at all these guys and they love football, but there's something about the lure of basketball that attracts them and vice versa. Yeah,
I think football is like one of those things you find out pretty quick if you can or can't do it. You know what I mean? Like you find out real quick, man. Basketball, you can talk noise, you can sit up there, you can shoot at the park, you can play money if you want to. You have some sort of connection with it, and it's a little closer. Even when we were in high school and in college, the guys would come to the games. Coming to the games were a good time, and it kind of really starts that connection. And a lot of people play ball. Like I know J. Cole and 2 Chainz for sure. They played, at a high level of basketball, so they understand, and it's a good feeling. Hooping. You do that with your friends. Those are summer days. It's a lot of memories that go with that.
And Master P almost made a basketball
Master
team.
P, the legend. Guys were always playing, and it's just ingrained so deep into the culture, that people were doing that really before. I mean, I know my dad, we would go with friends and, playing pickup, the same guys or musicians or something like that, the same dudes who are around. If you play ball, go play pickup. At the park, if you want to find a game, you'll find a game, and you're going to play with your friends. It's just one of those social things too.
So, who are some of your? Obviously, if you're doing rap, so who are some of your favorite artists, some of your favorite rappers? Are you not necessarily? Are you writing for some of not just rap? Are you writing for R&B? Are you writing for other genres? Or
we do it all. We do it all. We don't discriminate.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, music is music. I grew up on. I mean, even country music. I love country music. I love pop music, R&B. Really everything. 70s soul. It's just so many genres of music. I never really try to limit myself creatively. Mm-hmm. And especially now with the way things are going, you kind of don't want to put a cap on yourself or what you could do. I've worked with some great artists and songwriters, and the things that you get when you cross-pollinate, work with people you'd never think you'd work with, the things that you get are kind of brand new. So that's kind of one of the things I love doing, and I never try to put a cap on what it is. Do we rap quite a bit? Yes, we do. The artists that I work with, but we always challenge ourselves to make timeless music that people want to listen to 10, 20 years from now. You know?
What are some of the artists that you listened to before the game? For me, I couldn't listen to rap because it got me too amped up. And so I had to listen to the opposite. I needed something to settle me down because I'm high strung to begin with. And so I was almost about to pass out before the kickoff.
Where'd you listen to? I'm eager to know. Where'd you listen to?
Sade, Maxwell, Michelle
Yeah.
Ndegeocello, something like that. Jill Scott. I needed to slow it all the way down. Man, I was.
You're ready to go, huh?
Yeah, man.
Jill Scott bring you down just enough to be like, all right, let's do it.
Yeah. Listen to Tupac and Biggie and Mystical. Here I go. Was having me about to pass out before the kickoff.
Hey man, you gotta find. That's what I love about it. I was kind of like that. It's funny, like people would always listen. What do you listen to before a game? It kind of goes in waves. I kind of get amped up, in the regular season.
Right.
You gotta find that thing. Playoffs, yeah, I need to be calmed down and
Right.
I need to think about what I'm doing. So
Right.
I would listen to a lot of classical music.
Okay.
Because it's almost like, okay, 2 hours before tip off, I don't want to be talking to nobody.
Right.
I kind of want to get in my head and just think about what's about to happen so that I can do my job correctly.
Right.
Getting amped up. That was a young guy's thing.
Yeah, but Chris, I can understand you needing to get amped up because you're playing 82 games. You're
Right.
playing every other night or every third
sure.
night. So after a while, I'm only playing once a week. And I
Right.
know somebody's trying to, I'm already pumped up because I know somebody's trying to tear my head off.
For sure. It's physical. It is physical. I couldn't imagine, man. I have so much respect for football. Man, I don't know how you guys do it, man.
So were you always the tallest kid in school or did you grow?
It was a little bit of both. So I was
Okay.
always the tallest kid, and then I kind of leveled off around 7th, 8th grade.
Okay.
I was pretty tall, but not the tallest.
Right.
Not abnormally tall.
Right.
Then between 9th and 11th grade, I probably grew, about 10 inches.
What?
Yeah, about 9-10 inches in 3 years. And I went from, a okay basketball player, like, yo, this kid might be something. I played a couple games on varsity, even in my
Right.
freshman year, to, oh man, he's a prospect. So it happened pretty quickly.
Okay, so you played against Kendrick Perkins in high school. Your
Yeah.
team was 40-0.
Mm-hmm.
How many did you drop on Perk?
About 20. If I'm not mistaken, I had 23 points. 23 points, about 12 or 13 rebounds, few blocks.
Because you guys went 40-0 that year, and you were the number one team in the country, right?
Yeah. It was like the hood version of Friday Night Lights, to be honest with you, man. We were not losing that game,
Right.
It was a really magical run. That was like that was, I talk about it all the time with people. We were very blessed to have a magical run in my high school senior year. We were a public school that got ranked #1 in the country. They called it the mythical national championship. Right. So that was pretty cool. But we were from South Dallas, man. We didn't know much else. We were just playing ball.
Did you guys have recruits? Were you like this IMG Academy or Oak Hill? Were you one of those schools?
No, sir.
Basically, everybody that was on your team actually went to that school. You didn't have guys coming in just to play basketball.
No, from citywide in a city kind of feel, kind of, but not on Oak Hill's level. No,
right.
No, not in that kind of context. Yeah, we were not a privately funded school. This was Dallas Independent School District. You could look it up. In Lincoln High School. You could look it up if you get bored.
Obviously, at 6'11", you win the state. You're Mr. Basketball in the state of Texas. So obviously, you had your pick. You didn't choose a blue blood. You didn't choose Carolina. You didn't choose Kentucky. You didn't choose Kansas. You chose Georgia Tech. Why Tech?
Man, for one, they had a African-American head coach, black head coach.
Okay.
I was very into that. I was drawn to that.
Paul Hewitt, right?
It was great. Yeah, Paul Hewitt. He was running a great program, turning the program around.
Right.
It was very young. It was youthful. The blue blood programs were there. it just didn't attract me in that kind of way. And we really had a really great class, and a lot of guys started getting picked up early. I believe North Carolina had 3 McDonald's All-Americans from our class. They had Raymond Felton, Sean May, I'm missing Jawad
Rashad
Williams and Rashad McCants. That was in 2 years. They have 4 McDonald's, 3 from my class. So that was gone. Duke has Sheldon Williams, JJ Redick, Daniel Ewing. You know, it just seemed to kind of all be going, you know, to guys that were very, very good very early, and they know where they want to go. Right. For me, you know, I had Florida and Texas, and I don't know. I wanted to play in the ACC because I felt it gave me a better chance to make it to the league. So, like, in my mind, I'm like, oh, yeah, I'll go to Georgia Tech because if I want to go to the NBA, the ACC, they don't have there's a void at the 4 that they need to fill. I can go play there. You know, people later told me, said, dude, you were going to play anywhere you went. Right. But I didn't. Exactly. I didn't have that awareness of myself at that time.
So who would be your top 5 players to come out of state of Texas in high school basketball?
Ooh, man, I mean, me, of course.
Okay, that's one. You only got 4 more to go.
Got to put Big Perk in there.
Okay.
Got to put TJ Ford in there. Oh, man, it goes quick. Got to put LJ in there. And Rashard Lewis.
Wow, okay.
I know I'm missing some people. I know I'm missing somebody, but those are the people.
But as big as Texas is really not known for basketball. You are a football mecca in track and field. Guys play football and guys can really run fast in the state of Texas.
For sure. All day, every day. But you know, that was one of the best things that happened. I think and I'm just not thinking about it too. Even in my class, I know I get a lot for that, but I got to put D. Will and LaMarcus Aldridge in there too.
Okay, yeah.
But we were playing against each other. You know, those are my good friends. And, you know, it kind of, not that it was overtaking basketball, but it was like in Texas, if you were a sports junkie, if you're a high school sports junkie, that's like the perfect place for you. Right. You follow careers, you get your information in the papers. You go see every game, because a lot of the times the best football player is the best basketball player too on a lot of teams. So, you know, just the school spirit and just continuing sports just all through, and then it'll tide you over to track and field, man. Then you just keep it going all year. You're good to go.
Yeah. So you go to Georgia Tech, you play in the ACC. What was it like playing those teams? Because even though you chose not to join them, you felt the ACC gave you a better opportunity or a better pipeline to the NBA. Mm-hmm. So that meant you had to play well against the Dukes, against the North Carolinas.
It was very humbling because despite how good I did, we were still getting crushed as a team. Just as a team, I wanted to win. You know, you want to win. You have a certain fixation on how the season is going to go, of how the school year is going to go. None of that happened for me. And, you know, we had a couple of great moments, but it was just a tough year. Adjusting to college was really hard. Right. You know, being away from home, going from Dallas to Atlanta, I underestimated.
You know, Atlanta had it going on too.
It did, but let me tell you, brother, it did have it going on. That was not a good thing. I didn't have any money in my pocket. And you quickly learn how much competition it is for a pretty young lady in you know, in Atlanta. You know, it's like, damn, you know, I don't have none of that stuff. You know what I mean? I was striking out left and right. So it was very humbling.
So when you went to Tech, did you know that you were like, I'm one and done? Or did you think that, you know what, I might stay a year, I might stay 2 years? Or was it because the evaluation that you got, like, I got to go?
It was because of the evaluation. I didn't know until later in the season, around the time, about February, late February. That's when I was aware, because people tell you, being in Atlanta, people going to tell you, you know. So I was just keeping my head down and working.
Right.
People start finding me and telling me that information. And my intent was to do 2 years. In my head, I said, okay, 2 years. And I'm going to be, man, I can have a shot. And it was hard to take because honestly, I wasn't ready to hear that.
Right.
I'm just, man, we're losing and what are we doing wrong? And I have to get better. And I'm thinking about the things to do to get better. And then, people were telling me like, well,
you were a lottery pick, bro.
Yeah, you can go number 5. I remember that. And number 5. And I didn't understand, no, not yet. He's like, nah, because that meant you had to go.
Right. Oh, absolutely.
I know what that means. I'm like, I'm just now starting to get used to Atlanta and
college life was looking good, Hey.
Oh man, the sun was shining. Yeah. It changed up, man. It just, that stink of the season was off.
Yeah.
It's just next year which the guys went to the final. They competed for a national championship. We were looking around and saying, man, we might be all right, but it just came up and it was quicker than I anticipated.
The 2003 draft, LeBron was regarded as universally, he's going number 1.
Right.
Did you think Carmelo Anthony's in that draft? Darko Milicic is in that draft, and D Wade.
Mm-hmm.
They're the high profile. Did you think you had a chance to move up to maybe number 2, number 3?
I thought I could move up to number 2. I wanted to play in Detroit because I have family in Detroit.
Okay.
And at the time, you're young, you don't know nothing. But I'm like, man, they're taking Darko. Maybe I can, if I work out for him. So I actually worked out for him, but they were taking, Darko was a grown man at that time. They were taking 1 through 3 pretty much was solidified. I think I worked out for Denver, but that was pretty evident that they were going to take Carmelo.
Right.
I played Carmelo that year in college. They beat the crap out of us. They were pretty good, man. But with LeBron and Dwayne, not LeBron and Carmelo, I had never seen basketball players like that. So you knew they were going early. And with Dwayne, nobody really knew. I didn't even hear of him until, you hear a couple of things. I didn't really just know until that Kentucky game he had with the triple-double.
The triple-double, the Final Four, yep.
Yeah, and it's like, oh, okay. But everybody thought he was going to be lower mid, and Miami worked them out, and they knew.
Right.
But after 3 was pretty much kind of like the question mark at the time. So you
didn't play any of these guys in AAU ball. You didn't go against LeBron. You didn't play
LeBron
against Melo.
Yeah, LeBron actually. It was ABCD camp in 2001 in Teaneck, New Jersey. He was the first team, the first guy I played against. So it's kind of like they take 300 kids from all over the country and divide them into teams.
Right.
And you just play like 2 games a day for a week. And the first game we played was LeBron. And I remember watching him play like, yo, who is this guy? I said, oh, this is LeBron. Okay, I've heard it. Okay, I've heard of this guy. Haven't heard his name, have not heard his name since. And then we played each other a couple more times that year. Yeah. So we played each other. That was and then I played with Melo actually at USA Basketball in Venezuela back in 2002.
So watching LeBron play then, did you know he would turn out to be this? Or is he even better than you thought he would be?
Definitely better than you thought it would be. But when you're kids, right? It's a friend.
Right.
It's like, yo, man, what's up? Yeah, you were at the camp. Oh, yeah. Okay, and then you're at the draft. And then all of a sudden it's like, okay, but right before that, it was Chosen One. I'm like, oh shit, he on the cover of Sports Illustrated? Damn. But I remember when I got to Georgia Tech for my freshman year, they played on ESPN in high school, and that was kind of like, damn, that's crazy. And then it's like, boy, he's been hitting the weights.
Right.
He took that next leap, and then, you don't see him for a year, and then the next time you see him, he's just transformed. So we knew right away that, okay, he's going to be the number 1 pick.
Right.
But to be honest, you don't really think that far into it. You just, it's all of us. This is cool. I went right into, trying to be great myself and pouring all my stuff into the game.
You get drafted number 4 overall. You go to Toronto. What were your expectations and what was Toronto like?
I didn't have any expectations for Toronto because it was kind of shocking, man. It was a culture shock. It was moving to a different country. I knew I was playing with Vince Carter. You're excited to move. You're excited to get it going, but then just that professional pace is very slow, man. And then boom, you're thrown into the pan. I really struggled when it got cold. When it started getting cold, that's when I started, getting homesick. I'm 25, 30 games in. I'm getting smashed every day by grown men. The league was a little,
a little different
strong,
than it is now.
a little different than it is now. You could, guys, it was more physical. And I'm like 210, 215. I mean, I'm just getting my ass handed to me every day. So it was a struggle. It was a real struggle. And we weren't doing too good as a team. It was, just an adjustment getting used to the NBA life. And then socially, I was calling my friends every day back at Georgia Tech. They're going to the Final Four. I'm just like, God, man, did I make the wrong? I don't know if I made the right decision. I was going through that in my head, but
right.
Everybody has to go through it. We all have to go through it. And,
right.
and those are my years, man.
Did you ever think about bringing family out, maybe your mom, your dad, or someone that you're very familiar with, you're close with, to live with you, to be there, to give you that sense of home?
I had that.
Okay.
I did have that. I had tremendous support at the time. Always had someone with me. It's just they're not with you in that huddle. Right. They're not with you on those road trips.
Yeah.
It's just the grind of the season. It sounds a lot cooler playing on the road than it actually is when you first start. You got to get used to it. It's a lifestyle adjustment you have to make. And being 19, like I say, being 19 in a league full of grown guys, it was a struggle, man. It was just different.
Chris, I hate to bring this up, but January 22nd, 2006, you happen to be on that team in which Kobe, rest his soul again, dropped 81. Everybody talks about Jalen Rose, and you kind of and you don't ever mention it. So you've done a great job of like, hey, nobody, doesn't anyone remember that I was on that squad? So I ain't gonna bring it up.
I brought it up a couple times, just a couple times, not a lot. It's more like a trivia thing. And then people say, oh, that is you. Oh, you can watch the game and maybe not even know it's me because I look a little different. I was pretty young. I think I was like 22. Yeah. 22, 23 at the time. Yeah, that was embarrassing, man.
So what do you remember about that game? And then when he got it going, did you ever think he would get to that plateau?
No, I didn't. Okay, so like all I remember, I remember halftime. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people don't know, but he scored 55 points in the second half.
Right.
That's like the stat. That's the staggering.
That's
stat.
What swept up under the rug.
You know what I mean? They think it was like, okay, 40. Nah, he had 55. I just remember we were up. We weren't a very good team at the time.
But you were up big on him.
We were up big. We were up about 14, 16 points. And on the road, we're feeling great. He's got 26 points, right? So I'm like, hey, Kobe can have 50. Don't matter. As long as we win by, man, I just remember he came out. It's like he couldn't miss. I don't know. It's like you just start watching him play because he started doing stuff you never see anybody do. Nobody was pulling up for threes. Steph Curry started pulling up for threes again. Nobody saw that back then. He was pulling up from that far, you know, and the game, the second half just started. It just started the second half. He just come out, shoot it. Bop, bop, bop. Okay, he hits like 4 threes in a row, if I remember correctly. And that's like 12 points. And then he just started hitting everything. And we were bad defensively already. So it wasn't like there was a bunch of resistance. So it was that perfect storm of he hit every three, he hit every shot, and he shot a lot of free throws.
Right. So it was really the perfect storm.
Oh, it was a perfect storm, man. He gave it to us, man, and that was a tough one, man. And it was kind of like I just remember running back and forth, just like, yo, this can't be real. You kind of get stuck in a dream almost,
right.
You know, like, can we stop this? I don't know. He just hit this fadeaway from over there. I've never seen that before. You just kind of get like, no way, bop, like, God dang, this dude is killing.
So the horn goes up, and you look up, and it says it has Kobe, and he has 81. And did you like, is that a misprint? Ain't no way this man had 81 points in big.
Hey, Shannon, I didn't even have to look. I just walked off. I knew what he had. His last two, free throw, and then they took him out. And I said, man, let's just get off the court. Let's just get out of here as quickly as possible, man. That was a Sunday afternoon.
Yes. Let me ask you a question. When Toronto won the title last year, what were your emotions? Because you did start in Toronto, although you had your greatest team success in Miami. What were your emotions? Were you excited? You like, okay, yeah, I played for that team. I'm happy for it.
Oh man, I was so happy. I was so happy for the city because nobody ever would have thought that would happen, that they would even have the opportunity, just because that was the stigma for so long. And especially when I was there, that was the stigma that you would fight. Like, I don't know, man, can we compete for a championship here? And then it would start to kind of seep through the city. But when I went, I got the opportunity to work with the finals for Canadian cable with TSN up there. And so I went to every game, and just to see the excitement, that's one of the things I wish I would have got more of, was to see playoff basketball in Toronto. Phenomenal fans. And to see their spirit and for them to experience that, not only experience it, but win it. I mean, I was so happy for those guys. I mean, I still know the trainers, the coaches, you know, the staff, the front office. The first thing they say when they see me is like, yo, can you believe it? I'm like, I know, man, this is great. I was so happy for those guys. And that was one of the times I really, really enjoyed. I got to go back and see all the old guys. You know, on those days I wasn't working pregame too much. I would go back to the locker room and in the equipment room and talk to my old equipment manager and the trainers and just, you know, have a couple beers and shoot the shit, you know, have some fun. And just to see those guys in that city have that opportunity and win it and have that forever, it's nothing like it.
Obviously, Kawhi was a big part of that team in Toronto last year. He moved on to the Clippers. What was different between Kawhi last year in Toronto and Kawhi this year in LA? Because it seems he had more talent in LA than he had in Toronto, but he didn't enjoy the same level of team success. Why do you think that was?
You know what? I think it's the motivation. I think you can get to a complacent place as a team. It's not easy. And with those guys, they had to have the gap in between shutting down the season and the bubble. So there could have been many miscues there. But I think, you know, they kind of let that take them out of their rhythm. And it's a hard lesson learned. I mean, you know, hopefully those guys can learn from what transpired, but all in all, they still have the talent. They'll still be a championship contender. It will be harder next year because, you know, you got guys like Golden State who they're gonna, you know, they got the Splash Brothers rested up, Draymond rested up, and a high pick, you know, coming. So we'll see how that goes. But, you know, I think it wasn't as much urgency. You know, they didn't play with the urgency. They didn't play with the edge that they needed. One, to put Denver away, and two, to really sustain their great play.
2008, you guys, it was dubbed the Redeem Team because in 2004 they had lost the gold medal. Not only did they, because they say, you know, you don't win a silver, you win a bronze, you lose gold. They lost the gold medal. They got the bronze. If I'm not mistaken, Argentina won the gold medal that year behind Manu. In 2008, what was your focus? What was you guys' focus going in to try and bring the gold medal home? Because you're not, basketball started in America, so we should never lose in basketball.
Man, it was embarrassing, man. And like I didn't get the opportunity to play on the team in Athens, but I
Mm-hmm.
played in Tokyo in 2006. We didn't win that either, so it was getting to the point, where it's like, man, this is embarrassing. Like,
Yes.
we're supposed to be the world leaders in this. MJ and those guys never lost.
Right.
So we've gotta fix this, and we definitely can't lose in 08. It was just a very, very serious atmosphere. I mean, not only for basketball, but just the spirit of a nation. I mean, we talked to veteran people who were disabled, lost their eyesight, re-enlisted back into the military,
Wow.
to fight for their country, talking to 2 and 3 star generals. It was super, super patriotic, super heavy. And I mean, Coach K, I really want to say Coach K led the charge on that one, because he knew the moment and how serious it was, not only as a leader in basketball and setting the precedent with that, but just representing, the United States of America, having pride in that, and not letting anybody kind of take that away from you,
Yeah.
just wear it with pride. And we played pretty hungry. We were ready to go that year. It was a lot of fun.
So what are some of your best memories about the '08 team? Obviously, you're around D Wade, Melo, LeBron. You guys came
Yeah.
in the same draft in '03, so you're very familiar with each other. Kobe was on that team also.
Kobe was
Crip,
there, yeah.
CP3. So what are some of your best memories about that? Besides winning, obviously that was the greatest memory of winning. But what
Yeah.
are some of your behind the scenes memories?
Hanging with Kobe, of course. We went to the village quite a bit. I want to say every other day. We had built this thing where we would play. The next day we practice and then go hang out at the village. But just to hang out at the village, see the spirit of the games, talk to the people, eat in the mess hall, eat the same food. And like seeing how big Kobe was. Because LeBron is, Kobe's the guy, and LeBron, and he's like, okay, he's the guy you can touch. You can't touch
Right.
Kobe.
Right.
LeBron you can touch, kinda, and he's on his way, and like, he's one of the best in the world. But then
Right.
Kobe was around, and it was just, I mean, the way people reacted to that guy was crazy. But just getting to see some of that, getting to see how hard he worked, how much he put into the game, how good he really is or was. And yeah, just hanging with the guys, man. We had a good time. It was a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun on that trip. I think I was 24 years old. We were all, Brian was 23, Melo was 24, D was 25. We were just some, young guys hanging out.
When you guys are at the Olympics in '08, did you know that there was a possibility that you, D Wade, and Bron might link up later? Would that ever?
I did not know. I'm sure Bron knew. I'm sure he knew, because he's a very calculated person. I was just happy to be on the Olympics. I was trying to play.
Right.
I was just trying to get more minutes, and I was so concentrated on making Toronto a destination. That was like my goal and focus as a franchise player. I truly, truly believed that we could compete for a championship one day. I just had to keep doing what I'm doing. And, I was just fully into that. I really didn't start thinking all the way about free agency until I think was it that summer? I think the summer before, in 2007, we all signed our deal. So it was kind of out of my mind. For whatever reason, I was just kind of just compartmentalizing and just thinking about things that were in front of me.
So how did that come together? So how did you guys, D Wade, LeBron, are you on the phone? Are you in a room? And you're like, obviously they're not coming to Toronto. So in order for you to play with D Wade and LeBron, you're gonna have to make the move to the state. So how did this come about?
So it kind of started out all cloudy, free agency is crazy, but it was known that Miami was making moves to get enough cap space. That's pretty much what it came down to. Once the cap space was made, yeah, a couple phone conversations, I mean, we're friends, we see each other. And at that time, it was still just possibilities. Nobody really thought, because, I believe there were still moves to be made and all that stuff. So, it was just kind of a pipe dream at the time, but it was on the radar. My agent, the late great Henry Thomas, me and Dwayne had the same agent, so everybody put me in a position where it's like, Chris, if you come, for sure we're going to get one of them. Right. So that's what, like, New York, New Jersey, Chicago, that's what they were telling me. And like, for me, they were putting me in the middle of it. And I mean,
so in other words, you were the linchpin. You were the one that was going to connect the dot, because if you come, one of the others was definitely coming.
That's what they were trying to sell me on. Never believed it any part of the day. I'm like, guys, I don't know. But they, that's definitely what was being sold to me quite a bit. But, it was a slow burn. The free agency period happened. Once I heard the possibility, I mean, it was pretty evident to me. I was on board.
The welcome, when the Heat had their welcome party and you guys are on stage and the pyrotechnics are going off and there are probably 15,000 people in Heat Arena, and LeBron is saying not one, not two, not three, not four. Are you like, bro, let's hold this thing. Let's get one first, and then we'll get to 2, to 3, to 4. What's going through your mind when you hear him say that?
That's right. Tell him.
So you
wasn't even thinking. Oh yeah, I was give me all the gas. Wasn't even thinking about how that would look. Wasn't even aware. I mean, it was just, everybody was having so much fun, to be honest, man. And it kind of, not that it didn't get flipped. We definitely should have been smarter. It was just like, in the context, the question was asked, and then he said, we're not here to win, not one. But of course, hey man, they're going to pick up, they're going to just nudge that over, pick that part up. And yeah, you did we were all there counting all the way up to 10 or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, we were feeling so good, man. We had no idea. And at the same time, like, we weren't seeing the aftermath of the night before.
Right.
We went straight to parties and stuff. So we were totally, at least on my end, I was totally unaware of the perception and how it was taken. So yeah, if we would have known that and how good and how hard it is to win a championship, yeah, we might would have, we probably would have said some different stuff, And come on, the crowd was like,
they had y'all gassed up.
Oh, we were gassed, bro.
Yeah, they
By the time he got to 8, it was a standing ovation.
but you, as you mentioned, you didn't see the backlash that had happened the night before, because once you guys did what you did, you went straight to parties. But you're beloved. LeBron was beloved, D Wade, and now you guys combined, and you're the most hated team maybe in the history of basketball, outside of the bad boy Pistons. But you go from beloved to hated overnight.
That's what kind of threw me off, and that was my naive nature at the time, just being a younger guy. Everybody loved me in Toronto. I was not threatening. I'll give you 20 and 10 a night.
Right.
We'll make it the 8th seed, 7th seed.
Right.
We'll get you guys out of here in 5, man. Chris, you can play. And it wasn't threatening. And prior to that, I want to say 2009. When I tell you, everybody was so nice because free agency was coming up.
Right.
And so you kind of get in this mode of just thinking, oh yeah, they're my friends, or yeah, nobody, not even putting yourself in their position and saying, oh yeah, okay, there's a fan and they're a Bulls fan. So if you don't go to Chicago,
right,
they're not going to like that. So, I mean, I think for everybody, for all of us, we kind of, Dwayne and LeBron had some experience with it. I had none. Right. So I was just steadily playing catch up and just catching those stray bullets, man.
How difficult was it? Because as you mentioned, you go from being a 2010 guy. a guy that they're running the offense through to all of a sudden it's LeBron, D-Wade, LeBron. Now, Chris, okay, here's a little something for you. How difficult was that for you?
It was very difficult, to be honest with you, because in my mind, I said, man, I'm going to get my touches here and they're going to be making plays for me because Dwayne and LeBron can pass so well.
Right.
I'm going to be the leading scorer, man. I'm going to average. My game is going to continue to go up. I averaged 25 last year, 24 point. Ooh, I probably averaged 26 at least. Yeah, it wasn't like that. It's not like that. And then even in that, we're trying to figure it out as a team. I'm running a whole different playbook. I don't like it. Nobody, I mean, when it's new, nobody likes it. And then we're trying to figure out how to play
with each other.
With each other. And then it's so loud. Every game is like a playoff game. So learning on the fly, it's not really working. So we're going back to old habits. It was bad. It just kind of snowballed into this situation where we said, okay, as a team, this is what we have to do. And to be quite frank, man, I mean, they were so amazing just at what they did. I said, all right, cool. I would see LeBron get a block, get the rebound, push it, kick it up, and catch the alley-oop. I'm like, God, okay, I can't do that. D-Wade doing all those Euro steps and getting the steals in the backcourt. They just did things that I could not do. So I pretty much, it was pretty evident as far as how I would affect the game and where I would fit in with that team.
You guys don't get off to the best start. At 17 games in, you're 9-8.
Yeah.
How much truth is it that D-Wade and LeBron wanted Spo gone and Pat Riley to come down? And were you in on it?
Nah, yeah, never. It was never a thing. It was getting so crazy, man, to be honest with you. That was one of the things that we didn't, expect coming. Because, hey, we gave Spo a rough time. Don't get me wrong. You're supposed to give your coach a rough time. In that situation, nobody's happy, right? But, yeah, the fans in Miami, it started at the home games, if I remember correctly. People were just like, we want Riles. Riles pretty much we had to have a whole team meeting about that and just say, hey, I'm not coaching. This is our team. And him doing that, we knew that, okay, this is what we're working with. It's not going to be any kind of wishy-washy kind of stuff over here. He's the coach. He's ready. We're good to go.
How difficult was 2011? Because you guys were favorite to beat the Mavericks, and it does not go. You win game one. You're up by 15 at one point in time. In game two, they go on a 22-5 run, something like that.
Yeah,
and they win, and they end up winning the game. They win that series.
Yeah.
How difficult was that, and what was the offseason like?
The offseason was long because it was the lockout year.
Right.
So not only did we lose, but it's like, damn, are we even going to get another chance to even redeem ourselves? Probably. Right. I don't know. We'll see. But it was embarrassing. It was hard. We were shameful. I mean, every negative emotion.
Chris, what went wrong? What went wrong?
We just weren't ready. They were better than us. We didn't psychologically. We didn't play well. Our offense was stagnant. LeBron didn't play well. I didn't play well. Nobody played with the coaching staff. Hell, the popcorn man, I'm sure he was like, I didn't get them the popcorn but it just, one thing I learned from that, you have to gain experience as a team and then as an individual. And unfortunately, sometimes that requires pain. And we understood as soon as we lost how important it is to pay attention to the small details,
right?
To play with that pain, you know what I mean? And you get into a mode where and you got to give credit to the Mavericks too. Jason Kidd, Jason Terry, Dirk Nowitzki, they were very steady and they picked us apart. And they were always a step ahead as far as what we were doing. So we were always catching up to them.
Right.
And I mean, they seized the moment, man. You got to give them credit. They played well and we did not.
Did you feel like, okay, LeBron obviously is the best player, but he goes to D Wade's home. It's kind of like, look, I understand I might have more money than you, but when I'm in your home, I need to act accordingly.
Right.
Did you feel that LeBron was holding back because he was in Miami and this was D Wade's castle?
Oh yeah, for sure. That was all of our things. I didn't want to step on their toes. LeBron definitely didn't want to step on D's toes because he had pretty much developed his style of play at the time. So, that's a ball dominant style, to be honest with you. So like, I know for sure he didn't want to, it's like, yo, this is D Wade. He's the franchise guy. It took them having a conversation to pretty much say, hey man, you do your thing. We're in behind you. We've got your back. We're going to allow you to be the best player in the world. And that pretty much was the conversation. It was off and running after that.
You had these epic battles with the Celtics.
Mm-hmm.
You're down. I mean, you go up 2-0. They win the next 3. Walk us through game 6. Because you had just lost the previous year to the Mavericks.
Right.
You can't lose. You can't lose again.
Oh my God, it's over if we lose. It'll be
terrible. What was your mindset? What was the team's mindset? And did you know LeBron was going to have an epic night?
I didn't know he was going to have an epic night. From my mind, I was hurt. I had a torn groin. I could play, but I knew I couldn't give much.
Right.
So I just wanted to give as much as I can give. And I was coming off the bench. I think I was playing. I knew I was probably going to play 18, 20 minutes.
Right.
So that was my, focus, is playing with this pain and hopefully something could come out of it.
Because you missed the first series right against Indiana. You missed the first series.
Yeah, I came out. I probably played 6 minutes and missed the whole series, and then missed the first 5 games of this particular series with Boston. First 4. And I came back game 5, and then we lost. But I mean, it was just kind of one of those things where we just kind of had to believe, man. You had to believe. We weren't really thinking too much about the possibilities. It was more so just like, all right, cool. Boston, we're going to Boston. Let's get it done. I'm going to eat dinner. I'm going to do shoot around. I'm going to do this. That's all I was focused on. And then about midway through the end of the first quarter, I noticed Bron, like, God, he hasn't missed. Am I tripping? And then just, damn, we're playing well. And then, okay, man, he's hitting everything. We're not even running in any plays. I can just focus on defense. Right. We get some stops. He's going to take care of the rest. That's great. That makes it easier on everybody. Mm-hmm. And then we were just in a good rhythm defensively as a team. The couple times that he did get off the ball, we scored. And we were able to get out of there. But it was a crazy experience. I mean, before, I'm sure you've been in one of those games, right, where you could just hear a pin drop. Mm-hmm. It was nothing to say. There was no hype speeches. It was just, let's go out here and go. And then, it's just one of those moments.
45, 15-6.
God, it's like, man, this dude is hitting everything. Are you tripping? Then we're up 20. It's kind of like a good dream, but like an eerie dream. Like, am I in Boston up 20 right now? Are we about to get out of here alive? Okay, cool. And that kind of gave us, it reinvigorated us for game 7.
As you mentioned, that was game 6. All that did was promise you another game. You still weren't out of the woods because you have game 7 and it's in your building, which would have been even worse had you lost game 6 because you would have got the L in your building.
For sure. Once you get there, it don't even cross your mind. It's like, hey, we're at the crib. It don't matter. We'll whoop your ass on the moon. Let's go.
So you play OKC. You lose the first game. You win the second one. Okay, what's going through your mind at the beginning of the series? And did you okay, we've got control now. We're going home for 3 games and we're not coming back to OKC.
Oh yeah, I know I felt that in my spirit. We didn't play particularly well game 1. We knew that. We turned the ball over a lot. And when you get that far, you don't freak out. You don't get that far just to freak out over one game.
Right.
We recognized the mistakes that we were making as a team, and we knew we could play much better. And, knowing kind of trying to get in OKC's head, they were all in their early 20s. I know
Right.
how I was when we won game one. I thought we were going to win it. So naturally, you're going to have a let up in game two. Just that little bit of let up will change the ties a little bit. We kind of knew that. So we said, okay, let's get game two. And then once we got that game, I said, okay, we're not coming back. I mean, that's just how I feel. We were a tremendous home team. I think one of the best home teams in the league. And we were just totally confident at home. So going back, we just knew we had a chance to run them all off.
And you didn't know this at the time, but you beat a team that would later go on to have 3 regular season MVPs and a guy that won 2 finals MVP.
Crazy. We knew they were good. And it was kind of, playing them was very difficult. Even back then, early 20s, it was like, and I think Westbrook put on like 15 pounds after that series. Yeah. They took it to another level individually. We knew that they were going to be a problem. We knew they were a problem coming into that series. Everybody didn't really get used to the Harden thing until Houston.
Right.
He was doing that with OKC.
Did you know Harden? I think he was 6th man of the year. But did you know Harden would be this? I mean, it's one thing that he can be good, but to be this, a guy that averages 36, a guy that averages 35, he leads the league in assists. The guy, a 50-point, 50-point triple, a 60-point triple double. Right. Did you know he could be this?
No. We knew it was like, he's cold, he's bad. He can be a franchise player somewhere else, but if they stay together, you can fill in the blanks. And then when he went to Houston, oh man, he's going to be pretty good. But yeah, what the things he's been able to do, he's inspired. He's done a whole other thing with the game of basketball that nobody else has seen before. Yeah, I don't think anybody saw that coming. I think he gained his confidence, and then with whatever that crazy creativity that he's got in his brain, he started figuring things out, and it's like, oh wow, I can do this. And
he's almost unguardable with that step back 3.
Oh, for sure.
Euro step. So I don't know how you defend him.
Yeah, you don't know either. You're just in the whole game. How do we defend this guy?
So you win that one, and then the next year you go the Spurs. You lose game 1. Tony Parker hit that miraculous shot. LeBron got him D'd up. Shot clock's winding down, and somehow he throws it up. It rolls around and it falls in. You guys lose. What's going through your mind? You're like, oh my goodness.
Yeah, it's like, oh my goodness, but it's cool.
But that's not OKC now. That's
not OKC.
That's
it is not OKC.
That's Tim Duncan and Parker and Ginobili.
Yeah. Oh, I'm not saying you want to lose it, but you don't allow yourself to. It's like, okay, all right, cool. We lost that one. All right, hey, we cannot lose game 2. That's just, and we start identifying the problems and what we need to fix right away. And we were able to have a great game. But, in that particular moment, you just try to, in the finals, you have to have a very long outlook on the series. So, not that it gives you peace, but just saying, okay, hey, this is what we need to do. We identify these mistakes, we correct them. Let's have a better game next game.
You get one game because you got to get one in order for you to come back to Miami. You get the one game, you come back 3-2. Talk to us about game 6. What's your mindset? What are you feeling going into game 6?
Win it. It's not, it's kind of, you have to fight that deja vu kind of feel, because we were in the same situation with the Mavericks. We knew our backs were against the wall. We did not expect it at all, but we're here. And so, winning 2 games at home, or just winning 1 game at home was the focus, but we never lacked confidence. It was always, you always want to approach that situation with confidence. We being beat down after being in San Antonio and dealing with that home crowd, with their home crowd for a week and a half, being away from your home is a difficult thing. But, you know, it refreshed us. And, you know, you just get ready for the battle, man. That's all you can do. Get your mind right. It's not about the X's and O's. You go through those things, but it's not about that. It's just about the preparation. It's about doing what you do, and going out there and competing at the highest level.
You start the fourth quarter of game 6, you're down 10. Are you thinking like, man, this San Antonio, we know they're going to execute down the stretch. This is not a young team. They're well coached. They're going to be where they're supposed to be. They're going to execute their offense like they're supposed to. Do you allow yourself to like, damn, how did we get ourselves in this situation against that team?
No, we were good at throwing away the situations. I mean, we were probably the best fourth quarter comeback team by far in the league that year. So we had confidence. I mean, we didn't want to be there, but you know, not all is lost.
Right.
And, you know, our second group with Lebron, they played amazing basketball. They always got us going, even in the regular season. So it was just one of those things where you trust your guys. You trust the second group, led by LeBron. You know that they're going to get you back in it. And once we get back in it, we've got to either sustain it or overtake the lead. And, that's one of the habits that we had built up all year, you know, having that faith in each other.
Right. You're down, and it's come down to this: a missed shot and a rebound. You see LeBron pulls up. You're tracking the ball. What's going through your mind?
The ball. Fill your mind with watching the ball, man. I mean, if you watch the play in slow motion, the way that they played it, Tony Parker read the play and he stayed on top of my screen.
Right.
Boris Diaw did not see him. They both went and contested LeBron's shot. That allowed me pretty much a free pass to crash the boards. And I watched the flight of the ball. So
with no Tim Duncan, because Pop had made a strategic effort, strategy to take Duncan out of the game.
Yeah, and you know, that's always a what if thing, but they have been doing that all year.
Right.
You know, this is their late game package. This is what they always do. But that allowed me a free run to the basket while I'm watching the ball. And so any rebounder can tell you, if you get to watch the flight of the ball and nobody hits you, 9 times out of 10, you're going to know, or your instincts are going to take over and you're going to be able to be there when the ball is there. You know, great rebounder told me, hey, man, it was old schooler too. He's like, hey, man, trick the rebound and just getting there before the ball gets there.
Right.
God, yeah, you're right.
So
that's pretty much what that was.
You track the ball, you grab the rebound with the arena as loud as it is. How do you know? Did you know Ray was going to be back there? How, and even if you didn't know, he's saying Chris or CB, whatever he's calling you.
Yeah.
How did you hear that? I
heard him, man. That's the only thing I heard, to be honest with you. Isn't that crazy?
Yes.
That's the only thing I heard. I heard CB. I didn't hear anything else. And in my mind, it went a lot slower. But when I watch it on replay, I'm like, there's no way I could. I don't know. But I distinctly heard him. And I could see his eyes and his facial expression running back, like backpedaling. And so, you know, just the body took over. Did what it needed to do, and his took over, and shoot, and we were able to live to play another day, man. We still had to play overtime after that.
Right. But you know they were crushed out. You know they were crushed.
For sure.
Logically, they were crushed.
For sure. That's that thing, like, let's move in right now and win this game. And then that's like, then you still got game 7 to play after that. So it was that's the greatest. Ray Allen hit the greatest shot. Forget that's the greatest shot given the circumstances. And how does he backpedal? He does not. If you look at Ray, he never looks down. He has to like train. He's trained himself that he can backpedal. No, I'm far enough back. I'm not going to step out of bounds. Let that shot go, and it's pure. For sure. I don't know if you ever had that moment in football. Have you ever had that just moment where after the game, you're just like, it could be hours. It could, everybody's gone. You're still in your uniform, just in a stare, just like, how, you know, what just
happened?
Yeah. What just happened? And me and Ray were just kind of like that. And, you know, and I said, man, do you practice that shot? He said, oh yeah, I practiced that. And ever since that day, I practiced that shot every day. Every day that became a part of my routine, practicing craziest shots, because you never know when you got to break the glass and use it.
And that's what I tell people is that when you see these guys take these shots, they practice them. Steph Curry just didn't all of a sudden start pulling up from the timeline in the game.
Right.
He practiced those shots. Everybody's shooting these logo shots now. They become routine. Whereas, Chris, when you first got into the league, you only attempted that shot the end of the shot clock or the end of halves. That's the only time you attempted that.
For sure. Or a heat
guys
check.
Shooting that shot now with 18 seconds on the shot clock.
Yeah, it's like the backup. Like, whoa, young fella. Wait a minute.
So you're two-time, you win 2 and 3 years, you go back, 2014 doesn't end like you wanted. LeBron makes his decision, he goes back to Cleveland. What's your feeling? Did you feel that Miami was a total success, or did you feel like you guys got cheated or you left something on the table?
Oh, we definitely left some on the table. I mean, in my mind, I will always feel like it's an unfinished story, but sometimes the best stories are unfinished.
Right.
It was a 4-year just shooting star, and we wanted to continue it. And, I've had a lot of time to think about it. I've even talked to Pat about it, and we both I couldn't imagine if my hometown didn't like me.
Right.
I couldn't imagine that. At the time, feelings hurt. You have to get over the fact that it is free agency.
Right. He didn't demand a trade. He fulfilled his obligation.
Yeah, for sure. And it's like, okay, it kind of hurts, but it's just like, damn, you get used to playing a certain way and be frank. I mean, to be frank, man, he's fun. He's a great dude. We've been knowing each other since we were 17 years old. The team dynamic was great. It's LeBron James. You're playing with the greatest player, and it's a lot of fun. And I knew that things were going to change, but then I think it reinvigorated everyone. I think for me, I was able to just move forward as my career, or what I thought my career was going to take off to. It kind of gave me a fresh kind of outlook on the league and what I could be, and as well as Dwayne and the organization too. And for him, I mean, and that kind of hurts too, right? I mean, you going over there, K-Love over there, they just got K-Love, Kyrie. I'm like, damn, they're pretty good. They're pretty good. So, you feel a certain type of way, but, we had plenty of conversations since then, and more than buried the hatchet.
This was also going to be your opportunity to go back to being Toronto Chris Bosh.
Yeah, for sure.
A guy that's going to be 20 and 10. And then all of a sudden you get the diagnosis at the All-Star game. You're on vacation with your wife, you're vacationing, and you get these blood clots. What's going through your mind? And at that point in time, did you say, you know what, this thing might be career ending? Or did that thought never cross your mind?
It never crossed my mind, but we knew it was there. I just thought I was going to beat it because 2015 had happened, and then 2016 had happened at the same exact time with no pain this time. The first time I was just out. I was in the hospital for 2 weeks. I was bedridden. I had surgery. It was really bad. The second time was just, you have blood clots, and that was it. And it was psychologically, it was just super tough to deal with. I think we were number 2, second or third in the East at the time. And we were and I talked with Pat about this too. We were looking around like, man, I think we can make a run for one. We're hitting the marks. If we, after All-Star break, we can, if we can lock up this 2 seed and hopefully we can lock horns with the Cavs, I'll take that any day. And just how cool that is, that how great of a storyline that would be. That was my motivation every day. And like you were saying, being having that Toronto spirit about me and leading the team, I was all for that. It was me and Dwayne, but it's just one of those things that it just wasn't meant to be, man.
So when the doctors tell you, say, Chris, it's over. We recommend, and that's normally how they give it to you. We recommend if you were my son, I would advise you not to do this anymore, considering the ramifications that could possibly come along with this. So
Yeah.
when you and your wife sit down and you finally come to the ultimate decision, what's going on? What's going on? I mean, how difficult of a decision was that?
It took a couple years to get there. I tried my hand in finding a way to play again for a while, and I just ran out of gas, you know.
You were trying to find a doctor to tell you it would be okay.
Yeah, pretty much, you know. I'm looking for that one, please, and I'm just going different places. And you know, we fought because I felt, I mean, there was nothing that was, you know, physically
There's nothing
I was
physically
feeling.
you can't see. It's not a torn ACL. It's not an Achilles.
No.
It's not a torn anything. It's something. It's an invisible killer. That's what they call it.
Pretty good. I'm pretty good. We can play right now. You know what I mean? Breathing great. There was no, there was nothing happening. No pain.
Right.
It just really messed me up, man. And I just kind of, you know, I tried, and it just eventually I had to come to the realization, and you know, there wasn't a singular conversation, but just to be honest with you, when I saw Gordon Hayward dislocate his ankle,
right,
took whatever fight I had left in me, it was gone. Because remember, Dwayne and LeBron played in that game.
Right. Yeah.
So I hadn't watched basketball any of the year before, and I said, "Yo, I'm playing this year. Let me get back connected with the game." First 5 minutes that happened.
Yeah.
So, you know, I knew right then, like, yeah, I mean, that can happen to me, man. I'm not going to play anymore. Heaven forbid that happen, you know, or worse.
You spent 4 years playing with LeBron, and you're watching him do what he does in year 17. How do you think he's been able to maintain this level of play? Because we've never seen a guy play this well, this late into their career. We can debate, Chris, we can debate who's the GOAT, who's had the greatest seasons, all we want to. But we can't debate this. Nobody has ever played this well, this late into an NBA career.
You know what, man? He put so much into his body so early. Everybody is just now being able to kind of see the benefits that he's reaping, but he's put in the work. He was stretching twice a day, had a trainer, was doing all the things when we were in our early 20s. I remember seeing him, and he has a guy that stretches him, and they're doing tissue work and all those kind of things. Even if I wanted to do it, I don't even know where to start.
Right.
You know, so just his foresight back then to take care of his body, do the right things, invest in himself. Now he's reaping the benefits. Now he can combine that want and that drive with physically actually being able to do it and compete for championships. And, you know, Mike Jordan, man, it was all real to us. Mike Jordan and Kobe, they were playing very well at 36, you know, so he's 35. I know he's like, okay, at least until 36 plus one more. I'm sure he wants to play this way until he's 37 and then see where he's at after that. But I mean, he's put the time in, he's put the work in, he's made the sacrifice, and now he's able to, you know, keep playing ball at that level.
What do you think LeBron's greatest attribute is?
His longevity, his durability. Never seen anything like it. Play like a guy that plays every night. Every night he plays, you know, and just that has allowed him to be able to do the things that he does. I mean, you know, obviously we can talk about talent. We can talk about the things he can do, but unless you're out there on the court, you can't do it. He's done a tremendous job in taking care of himself and really dedicating himself to the stretching, the treatments, the weight room, you know, those other things you don't see.
Eating, the rest.
The eating, you know, all of those things that allow you to perform on the court, but nobody sees.
People always talk about his basketball IQ. Explain to people what basketball IQ is, because there are a lot of guys that can play, and I don't want to get into the name, but you like, bruh, you have no idea. You can just put the ball in the hoop, but you don't understand angles. You don't understand game time situations.
Right.
You don't foul a guy that's struggling to shoot the ball. You don't foul him on a 3-point shot.
Right.
You don't give the guy, you don't give up the baseline to a right-handed guy on the right side. I mean, things of that nature. So talk about LeBron's basketball IQ.
Well, I mean, he's made that commitment too, to mentally dive into those things that, okay, this particular player, he's really good at, you know, a 2-dribble pull-up going left. Make sure you force him right. And then you store that in your brain because you're going to play these guys. If I'm playing Bradley Beal, I need to be able to call on a drop what his best move is.
Right.
To dribble, step back, watch the film. Dribble left, step back, 3. That's his move. You know, so you get to a level and then you start just dissecting guys quickly and you keep storing that information. Then you get to the team. Okay, now you get to the coach. Yeah, this coach runs this set, these kind of plays. Okay, this, you know, this situation, you know, just storing the information and just recalling it quickly. And like, I was always envious of LeBron because for his whole career, he's had the ball in his hands. He's 6'8", and he can see over everybody, you know? So he's like, has the ball in his hands and he can watch the offense move.
Right.
I'm a post guy. It's always something behind me.
Somebody behind you.
Somebody's behind me that I can't see. So, you know, LeBron might be looking, I don't know what's behind me. You know, I got to watch film. So, you know, just him being able to do that for his entire career and combining all that information and just living in it, you know, of course, you're going to be a savant.
Are you surprised that he's playing this well this late and that he has the Lakers one game away from being world champs?
Oh, no, not at all. I mean, as soon as he went to LA, I figured they would have a shot at it. As soon as they got AD, they were my favorites to win it. I mean, you know, just combining those tremendous talents and then building that team around it and having guys like Frank Vogel, guys like Jason Kidd, you know, guys like Dwight Howard, JaVale McGee with their championship and finals experience, you know, coming in and leading that locker room. I mean, you knew that they were going to be primed to win one. They have a chance. They're on the precipice of it now. They just got to finish it, and we'll see if they're able to have a run.
D. Wade said Anthony Davis is LeBron James' all-time best teammate. Do you agree or disagree?
I disagree. He's being humble. You know,
he might be more talented, but not the best.
Not the best. And I mean, you know, and I only say that because what I watched LeBron and Dwayne do, I haven't seen anything since. It was entertaining.
Right.
You know, they're throwing lobs off the backboard. They're doing stuff you play Nerf ball with and do with your friends in Little League. You know, just the effect that they had on the culture of things and on the game and the way that they were able to combine their styles. It doesn't really make any sense. They're two slashers,
because both of those guys are ball dominant.
Right, ball dominant.
Actually, LeBron and AD are a better fit because D Wade and LeBron were both ball dominant. D Wade had to sacrifice more than AD ever did because LeBron is really starting the offense through AD now.
For sure. Absolutely. And he's doing that. And they can run a screen and roll with AD. We never ran screen and rolls until late with LeBron and D. But like just the way that they were able to combine their forces and figure things out. I mean, I just feel that that was just a great compliment. And it was entertaining and just so fun to watch. It was just all good. You know, it wasn't going to be anything in the media. It wasn't going to be anything on the court. You were just going to watch some amazing basketball.
Does it help that D Wade and LeBron were such good friends? LeBron and AD are such great friends. Does that really help with how well they mesh and how well they play? Because they can say things to one another that another teammate probably would be unwilling to say and not say, because they talk about how D Wade held LeBron accountable, LeBron held D Wade accountable, vice versa with AD and LeBron. Do you think that type of relationship helps?
Oh yeah, of course. I mean, you have to respect the person that you're playing with. You have to be a friend. I mean, you have to care because let me tell you, when it's like game 6 or something and you're dead tired and you have nothing left to give and there's still 2 quarters left and there's a loose ball.
You gotta go get it.
Matter of fact, LeBron threw the loose ball, and if I don't like him to a certain degree,
hey, you threw that, bro. You go get it.
Yeah, you know, I didn't throw it. You got to go get it, man, and you have to be able to sacrifice for each other, and you know, you got to stay. That's a huge part of being a team. You have to come together as a team. You got to be that solid unit. And, you know, you just have to, it helps when you like each other. Because, yeah, you're going to have some uncomfortable conversations some days. And, yeah, you might have to tell your teammate, yo, you need to play better.
Right.
And you're not giving, I need more, or you're not, that was bull, or, you know, just to keep people accountable. I think that's hugely important. And if you like them, it makes it easier.
What would a fourth ring for a third team do for LeBron James?
Oh, it'd be great. I mean, you know, the way I see it, it's a story still being told. You know, I have a little bit of experience with championships. I know you just want to get there. So actually winning another one would be, of course, any one you get is tremendous. Winning it this year in particular, RIP Kobe, you know, and winning it for the Lakers, that's a whole, you know, other thing. Yeah, it's just, I mean, just Bron has a whole, and this is just me talking, it's not him. He just has a whole other outlook on the game. He's thinking of it as a totality, not so much as a city, a person, a place, or a thing. He's like, oh man, I won with the Lakers. Wow. And then with the Heat back to back. Oh, and then brought one to Cleveland. I mean, just it's a whole body of work. And I know he probably has a number in his head that he could get to. That's possible.
Right. Because
Kobe won. Oh, go ahead.
But Chris, you heard what they said. LeBron went to the Lakers to retire, spent his last couple of years. He wanted to be close to Hollywood. He wanted to act. He didn't want to be Michael Jordan. He wanted to be Michael B. Jordan. He wanted to do movie project. Hey, Chris, you heard it all. You heard it all. This is what they said about the man.
Right,
that he came to retire. Even after the historic season that he had just put up, coming off the NBA Finals, he says he's going to LA to retire.
Nah, I don't think so. Not that he won't retire in LA, but if they win this fourth one, that's the start of a run. And, you know, he's in his mind, they're going to do this, you know, until, I mean, contract, you know, obligations are one thing, but, you know, if they can sign AD, they're definitely going to try to really, really capitalize on their situation. So I see him continuing to compete for a few years.
Everybody asked you this. You played the game. You didn't get it. I don't think you got an opportunity. You might have played. You might have caught Jordan. You caught Jordan's last
year. I didn't, man. I came in the year after he left. Yeah.
Year after. You saw the Last Dance. The Last Dance. You played with LeBron. You played in the era with LeBron. When it's all said and done, who's gonna be the GOAT?
Man, really, man, that's just a tough situation. I mean, you know, you can't really quantify it. What LeBron has done is in its own category. What Kobe did, what Jordan, Kareem, Bill. I mean, it's really hard to really kind of, you know, people get very selective. Well, he only did, these are feats that I feel that never will be. I don't think nobody will be 6-0 in the finals. It just ain't gonna happen.
Right.
That's crazy. 10 finals and counting. I don't think nobody's gonna do that. They both have a bunch of MVP awards. They've got all the trophies. You know, those guys, Kobe and Durant. Everybody's talking about the GOAT. I'm just trying to get in the building. You know what I mean?
It's gonna be a lot to be said if he wins Finals MVP. He has 4 Finals MVPs with 3 different locations, which means he would have led 3 different teams to the ultimate. It's gonna be tough to hold him out that conversation.
Let me tell you something, man. Man, it will be scholarly debates over this for decades.
Yes,
you know what I mean. And you know, I know LeBron wants it that way. Jordan was our hero. You know, we all watched Jordan. We all know that. Okay, I mean, this is what I'm up against, and man, it is what it is. But for him to actually create a lane for his own self, and then they say, "Hey, man, he is arguably the greatest of all time." There's nothing else to talk about.
Chris, man, I really appreciate it, bro. Thanks for sitting down with me and sharing your thoughts about your career and your new music career. Congratulations on that. And when you win that Grammy for Best New Producer, Best New Song, come back and visit your boy.
For sure, for sure. I appreciate that, man. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, brother.
All my life, been grinding all my life. Sacrifice, hustle paid the price. Want a slice, got to roll the dice. That's why all my life, I've been grinding all my life. Look, all my life, been grinding all my life. Sacrifice, hustle paid the price. Want a slice, got to roll the dice. That's why all my life, I've been grinding all my life.
You know what to do. Hit the subscribe button to become an official member of Club Shay Shay, where we always do something for two something.